Probably everyone has worried about the question, how big is the role of chance in our destiny? And is there any place for chance in our life at all? In the mind of an average person, all chance events are interpreted as something that comes into his life from outside, appears out of his control, and then begins to live its own independent life. Modern psychology supports this concept, explaining coincidences in life as follows: what a person begins to focus his attention on, he eventually begins to notice more and more. Although objective reality itself takes its course, regardless of what one directs one's attention to. Except that many people are probably familiar with cases where you talk or think about a certain person, and soon he makes himself known. Moreover, there are hundreds or even thousands of testimonies of people who have immersed themselves in the study of a narrow topic for a while, and references to this topic begin to follow them everywhere. For example, they would gather information about the city they were going to. Then they turned on the TV, and there was already a program about interesting places in a familiar place. Jung's theory of synchronicity. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Gustav Jung, a disciple of Sigmund Freud, became interested in this phenomenon. As he began to study the subject closely, Jung began to receive letters from all over the world with the stories of people who, in one way or another, confirmed the correctness of the doctor's concepts and conclusions. In the course of his work on the theory of synchronicity, Jung tried to be guided only by strictly scientific methods and facts, in which there was a clear pattern between the high probability of a change in a certain event and the human attention paid to it. So, for example, Jung established that when a random number generator worked, most often the numbers that a person who was close to the machine was waiting for fell out. Of course, this does not give us complete control over randomness, but rather the ability to influence the percentage of the desired event. Having summarized the whole array of collected data, Jung came to the following conclusion: we are not given to see the true sources of events occurring to us, so we cannot understand the reasons behind them, although they undeniably exist. Still, if an event directly affects you, there is undoubtedly a permanent, intangible connection between it and you. Simply put, anything that can happen to you cannot, under any circumstances, be classified as a pure game of chance. Today, Jung's synchronicity, in its actual interpretation, has itself become an undeniable point of many modern theories, such as the holographic universe theory, chaos and strings. Thanks to them, it received evidence of its validity in practice. Thus, physicists for a long time could not understand why principles of quantum physics do not work when you start to study Newtonian phenomena. The answer lies in the postulates of synchronicity. The process of the very act of observing a quantum directly affects its nature, while at the same time having no effect on large objects. So what's up with randomness? In ordinary life, it is reflected in the fact that any thought we have ever had that has passed through the mind over the course of our lives has a force of its own gravity. In other words, thoughts are timeless, creating a unified flow of events in our lives. This can explain the fact that sometimes it is difficult to identify a direct correlation between what comes into our mind at a given moment and the objective reality that we observe in parallel. Simply put, it has been scientifically proven that our thoughts and dreams are material, so dream more and dream more often.